So what happened on your first day?
Shots fired.
Really?
Fortunately,
You were right.
yes.
You were right on the scene for that the first day.
First day.
Boy, that's an awakening, huh?
Yes. And I'm recording myself and recording himself, and I'm saying happy birthday, singing, applauding, and I posted that video, and it went viral.
Wow.
It had like 25,000 views, and I was like, wow. I should just keep on doing this.
Right, so you realize how powerful it can be with the right message.
Correct.
I'm always amazed when I go down there. I'm going, there can't be that many people that need haircuts. There's no way in the world that, because every other shop is a barber shop, and everybody's the best. You know what I mean?
Believe it or not, we all make customers. Like, we all keep on getting customers, doing clients, and making money. I was like, wow, it's crazy.
You guys must be cutting your hair like every other week or something like that.
Look at me. Do I look fresh?
Welcome to Bare Wires. I'm your host, Brian Heyman. This evening we have a special guest, Alays Aquino, a police officer in Haverstraw. Alays is come to this country as a teenager, and we'll hear about the story of him traveling from the Dominican Republic to the United States and the challenges and the things that he went through to assimilate into society. You'll find out that he did a great job, and I can't wait till he tells his story. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
So in most of these podcasts, or for all of these podcasts, what we try to do is go back and try to establish, your childhood, what influenced you and things like that. Now, you came from the Dominican Republic. How old were you when you actually came to the United States?
15 years old.
Okay, so what was your life back there?
Very different. I was around my whole family.
Okay.
And it was
how
lovely.
many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have a sister and one brother.
Okay.
So I'm the one in the center, in the middle.
Okay. All right.
Yes. So, yes, we're a small family. It was very lovely back at home. My whole family was there. The minute we had to come here, that's when everything started changing. I was a juvenile back then. I got here to this country, specifically to Long Island.
So your whole family came over at once?
Yes.
Okay, who made that? The father made that decision?
Father made the decision.
And he says that we're gonna immigrate to the United States. Did he give you any reason, or he just said that you're coming?
So my father always used to travel for business, and he's a politician, so he used to travel back and forth all the time. But myself and my mother and my sister, we never traveled before. That was the first time. Therefore, it was a very primary experience for myself and the other side of my family. So when I got here, like I was saying, we came to Long Island. I didn't like it, to be honest. Okay. Everything was so far. The near close by was the 7-Eleven. It was like 5 miles away from me.
Wow.
I was like,
what town? What town? You remember what
township?
town?
Islip.
Oh yeah, Islip.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we went there, and I didn't like it.
No.
And then I used to have a family. I used to live in Haverstraw. That's how everything started. So we came to visit her, and I told to my dad, I was like, Dad, like, listen, I really like it here. There's a lot of Spanish people, especially they need to be very friendly. I want to stay here. Like, why don't you talk to her? And that's how everything started. So I ended up staying with her.
Oh, so your family was in Long Island and you moved by yourself here?
And me and my sister moved into Haverstraw.
So she liked it too. So she wanted to be in Haverstraw too.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, as you can tell, everything in Haverstraw is close by.
Right.
Everybody speaks Spanish, and like I would say, like 90% of the people are Spanish.
Now, did you know when you were in Long Island?
In the village, at least.
Did you learn English were you studying English in Long Island?
No.
So you were speaking Spanish?
I was speaking Spanish, yes.
Okay.
And I came during the summer.
All right.
So the school was about to start like 3 months later.
Right.
So I started school here, Rockland High School. But before that, I started to get friendships around, get to know the community, get to know the people. And I really liked how friendly people is in Haverstraw in the village. And that's how everything started. And then this is where the challenges started. So I had to go to the high school. I get subscribed to the high school. My counselor back then, her last name was Encarnacion. I believe she married.
Okay.
And the last name is Karweski or White now.
Okay.
So she was like, listen, Aquino, you have 3 years to make it. Due to the age and time, you have to take the Regents exam and you have to do it. Like, you have to start now. So
Were you speaking English at this point?
I was not. That
Wow.
was the hard point because I have to take the Regents exam. And everybody was telling me it was very hard. So, okay, I start stressing. So really, I need to take all these Regents exam. I don't know English. How am I gonna do? I really want to get my high school diploma. I want to move forward. My goal was always to be a police officer. And to give you a little story about Dominican Republic, law enforcement in DR is very different than the law enforcement in the United States. Totally different. Laws,
What's the difference between the two? What are some of the major differences?
laws, and it's hard to say it because I'm from Dominican Republic, but there are some sort of corruptions,
Corruption.
correct, that you don't see here.
Right.
You know, so that's something that impacted my parents when I told them, like, I want to become a police officer. I was like, wait a minute. No. You're not doing that. You came here, you're going to become an engineer, or you're going to become a politician, or you're going to do something that you're going to make us happy and yourself, obviously. But we don't want you to be a police officer. I was like, come on. I really want to be a police officer. So, you know, long story short, I'm a juvenile. I wanted to follow my dreams. So I get to the high school, started studying. I was going to my regular schedule, Monday to Friday, but then on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Friday, I would stay after school just to study English. And then on Mondays and Tuesdays, I would go to Havister Elementary School in the village to study more English because I needed to pass the Regents exam. Guess what was my grade?
What?
93.
I see you did it. You got through high school in actually 3 years instead of 4 years.
Correct.
So you
So-
had to really put a lot of work into it. So when you came here, you had a plan in your head. Were you involved with the EMS and the fire department at this time when you got to the Havister?
No, not yet. So
Okay.
I started as a ninth grader, but then I was doing the ninth grade and 10th grade. First time walking into the high school, I go to Miss Cushion, that's the teacher at the moment, classroom, and I walk into the room. I was like, "He," and everybody just look at me and they start laughing. I was like, "Why are they laughing?" I'm trying to learn to be friendly. But we know by now. I know you don't say he, you say hi. So everybody was laughing at me. I was like, wow, I really need to study. I need to get into this. You know, I want to get better. Obviously, you know, the accent at the moment was very hard, very, very. But I was like, I'm gonna keep on pushing. I have to sacrifice. There's gonna be obstacles in the middle, like everything in life. But I'm gonna get it through. I'm gonna graduate, and I made it. I graduated. I started applying for law enforcement agencies nearby. In between of that, I became a volunteer firefighter.
Okay.
Joe Morena, he got me in.
I know Joe.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's a very good friend of mine. I've been knowing him for years now. He got me into the firehouse of Lady Warren, house number 5. That's where I started the firehouse. And then I wanted to get some experience as a law enforcement. No agency was calling me back then, so I kept on applying, and I applied for the Village of Havister parking enforcement. 2 years later, guess what? They called me.
Okay.
So I was out there buying tickets, excited.
Not the most glorious job in Havister, that's for sure.
But guess what? People still liked me because my personality is always friendly.
Right.
And I do show people respect. Whether I'm doing my job in personal or in uniform, I always show people that we respect. If I'm doing the job, they respect me.
All right, so let's go back. When did you feel like this is really the direction you want to go? Public service. What did somebody talk to you about it? Did it come from your family? Did it come from a mentor? How did you develop this idea that you wanted to be focused on public service? Because now you're talking about your part, volunteer firemen, which volunteer fire departments all around here, they're all volunteer.
Correct.
And then, with your mindset of trying to become a police officer, what influence did you have from somebody that says, okay, I want to be involved with public service? Because not everybody grows up like that. A lot of people grow up and say, oh, I don't want to be a cop. I don't want to, I want to be an engineer. And I'm sure your parents wanted you to be an engineer.
Yes.
But your father was a politician, right?
He is. Still is.
He's a politician in Haverstraw?
Oh, no. I'm back in motherland.
Okay. Yes. So you say to yourself, okay, at what point do you say, okay, this is the direction I want to go? Do you remember that?
It was the need that I saw in the community, because there was all these kids coming to United States, specifically to Haverstraw, and there was no hope. There was literally no hope in the community. And I was like, somebody have to make it and show all these kids that if you sacrifice, although you're going to face a lot of obstacles, you can make it. It's going to be very hard, but you can make it. I felt multiple times. I was sad. There was a point in time that I didn't mention to you earlier in this conversation, but a couple of months later, after I started high school, my parents have to go back to DR. So that's where the hard point starts. That's what I told you. Like, I faced numerous obstacles that some people, they don't even know. So I was here, just me and my sister, pretty much. Obviously, I have all the families around, but it's not the same thing when you have your parents around to guide you better.
Right.
And I get a little sentimental about this because it's true. Some kids, they don't even realize how hard it is when you don't have your parents right by your side.
Right. Especially
it makes
at a young
big
age.
difference. Correct. And although I didn't have them, I still make the right decision. What I believe is the right decision to follow my dreams and become a police officer.
So you did you see influences down there? I happen to be very familiar with Haverstraw. I actually grew up in Haverstraw myself. I went to Haverstraw Middle School, so I ran around those streets forever. When you got there, you must have saw there's a lot of things that go on in Haverstraw that aren't cool. And none of those things really caught your attention or said, did anybody try to influence you not to do the right things while you were there?
Of course, all the time. There was numerous times that I got invited to parties, to do illegal stuff. Back then, not anymore, to smoke weed. I never did it.
Right.
I'm a juvenile. I'm a young adult that never did smoke marijuana in the past. Never did.
Okay.
I have drank alcohol in the past. I don't have that time now. But the hope, the vision that I always had for these communities, somebody have to make it and show all these kids that we can make it. We can make it. Okay,
so you're in high school. You get through high school in 3 years. Now, do you say you want to be a police officer? Do you have to go to the academy?
Yes, but before that, the requirements back then were a little harder, and there were more requirements, so I have to go through college.
So where did you go? Did you go to college?
Rockland County Community College.
Okay, so went to RCC.
RCC.
So you're a graduate of RCC.
I did 2 years associate in RCC just to get it out of the door because I wanted to get my requirements ready and get in. So at that point, I was already working for the Village of Haverstraw as a parking enforcement in a school cross car for the kids on the schools.
Okay. So you're into the community. They see you every day.
Correct.
Whether you're giving out a ticket across the street with kids, they see you every day.
There was some warnings too that I gave.
So you go to RCC, you graduate from RCC. Now, do you go directly into the academy, or how does that work? How does it getting into the academy work? I'm sure there's a lot of kids that wonder. Okay, you go to RCC, you get some requirements done. Do you apply for the academy? How does that happen?
So my best advice, and this is something that I did not know back then, as soon as you graduate from high school, if you know you want to be a law enforcement, you should start applying for the tests. Any test that comes around.
Okay.
I applied to New York State Police. I applied to Rockland, Orange, Suffolk County, Putnam County. I applied to all the counties nearby, even New Jersey State Police.
Okay.
Because I wanted to make it. I wanted to accomplish it, to get my goals. That was my dream, And so once you apply and you actually get a notice that you passed you have to take a reading test. Once you pass the breathing test, then
For each
for
application? Okay.
correct. Yes. Once you take the breathing test and you successfully pass, then they send you a letter in the mail with a canvas or a list number. That's what it's called. And that list number places you in between all the candidates. If your number is high enough, then you get rich sooner than later. And once you get rich, then you have to take all the exams, like a physical exam, psychological, lie detector, and you also have to take. They do a whole body test. Make sure you haven't done any drugs, like heavy drugs, cocaine, well, marijuana.
A blood test. They take a blood test?
Blood test, yes.
Okay.
Once you pass all that, then you get sent to the academy, which is 6 months.
6 months in the academy. Is that right up in Pomona?
Yes, the one for the academy for Rockland County is in Pomona.
Right.
But I started my career with the New York City Police Department.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that I didn't know.
Yes. So before I started with them, I was still senior. I was working for the Village of Havastro, and I was working for Auto Pro. I was doing all three. And I was also, something that I didn't get to mention yet, because I have a long story.
Now, Auto Pro, let's just talk, because do you know Bob Mayer?
Yes.
Okay,
And
he's
Jesus
a good
Castro.
shout out to Bob. Bob's a good friend of mine. He owns Auto Pro, and you were working in the one in Havastro?
Correct, with
Okay.
Jesus Castro, Moji. We call him Moji.
Yeah.
He was my manager back then.
right.
So I was doing that, and I was also cutting hair. I'm a
Okay.
barber.
We're down in Havastro?
Yes.
Where there's like 15 barbershops in a
Yes.
row? I'm always amazed when I go down there. I'm going, there can't be that many people that need haircuts. There's no way in the world that, because every other shop is a barbershop and everybody's the best. You know what I
And
mean?
believe it or not, we all make customers. Like, we all keep on getting customers, doing clients, and making money. I was like, wow, it's crazy.
You guys must be cutting your hair like every other week or something like that.
Look at me. Do I look fresh? So, yes, I was cutting hair, working for Auto Pro part-time, obviously, and working part-time for the Village of Havastro. And I was doing all three. I was always a proactive man.
Right.
I like to be involved in a lot of work. I like to work. I like to be involved in the community. So that's how I met Joe Moreno. It was one time he needed a haircut. He crossed the street from the firehouse. He asked me to get a haircut. I got a haircut. We started getting involved. I became friends with him.
Yeah, he's very involved in the community.
Yes. And he got me into the firehouse. It doesn't stop there. So I get a call from NYPD. Congratulations. You're hired. So here we go. So now I'm going to the academy. I was there for 6 months. When I graduated...
Where is your academy? Where
in
were you?
Brooklyn.
Okay, in Brooklyn.
Queens. Sorry.
So you were going
Yes.
to Queens all the time?
I was traveling to Queens
every day?
back and forth. It's 5 days a week.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So Monday to Friday,
Right.
I was back and forth. And as soon as I come out from the academy, I would go back to the barbershop.
Okay, got it.
So my life was always work, back and back. So I successfully graduated, and I was sent to the 47th prison.
47th precinct.
Yes.
Is that down by Yankee Stadium? Is that 47? No, where's that? Where's that?
That was Laconia, by White Plains Road.
Okay, got
Laconia
it.
Avenue,
Got
yes.
it. Yep. All right.
So I get there. It's a very, very, very busy prison. One of my first calls was I can't really describe it, but it was very impacting. Shots fired.
that was your first day?
First day, yes.
First day. Let me ask you something. On your first day, I'm sure you were nervous but excited. You know, what was different about your first day than you thought it was going to be one thing, but when you actually went out on the street, was it really different from what you thought it was going to be?
100%. I used to see this police officer in Havastro. I was like, wow, well, it's very nice here. I want to become a cop. Then I go to the NYPD. I was like, wow, it's different.
So what happened on your first day?
Shots fired. There was a person that was dead.
Really?
Unfortunately,
You were
yes.
right on the scene for that, for the
Yeah,
first day?
First day.
Boy, that's
That was
an awakening, huh?
Yes, and it was a wake up call, because then you realize, wow, this is real.
Right.
You need to get ready, you know.
Wow.
But I really appreciate the NYPD. I gained a lot of experience. That first day was very scary. After that, everything started slowing down.
Wow, that must have been something on your first day to go out there on the streets and say, okay, this is what I thought it was going to be, but this is what it really is. You know, the reality of that whole situation is an awakening for you to say, did you question yourself at that point? Did you say to yourself, do I really want to be a cop at that point?
No, because I always wanted to be a cop.
All
Yeah,
right.
so I was still going to stay either or, you know, but it was definitely different.
So so now you're in New York City. How long were you there?
Approximately 3 years.
Oh, you were down there that long.
Yeah, and because like I explained to you earlier, I applied to all these departments. While I was there, I was getting notifications to get the physical exam, to get the psychological exam for all the departments. So I was still doing that. I was still in the process of getting that done while I was still in the NYPD, getting my experience. And a couple of years later, I got called from Orange County. It's starting to get better now.
So you're in Orange County. You go to Orange County?
Yes.
Where were you in
I
Orange
was
County?
on Walk Hill Police Department.
Yep, Walk Hill. Okay,
Yes.
familiar with it.
Yeah, I was there for nearly a year.
Totally different than where you were.
Totally
It was like a new world. Okay,
Yes.
God came down and said, "I'm going to save you from that mess."
Yeah, the community was so nice. The department, everybody was friendly. I was like, wow, this is life. So I went to Walk Hill. The department itself, like the law enforcement officers there, they're all very friendly too. We worked out very good on the area. It's a very, very big area to patrol. So I learned more about community when I went to Walk Hill. How to sit on the highway, because we have Road 17.
Yeah,
over there.
17
It's a
runs
very,
right
very
through it. Yeah.
busy highway, and you learn a lot of traffic stops and doing all the stuff that I didn't get to learn in the city.
Right.
Because the city, as you know, you get heavy calls.
Right.
You get shootings, stabbings. Not that you don't get it somewhere else in this area. We do get it, but the city is constant.
Okay.
Unlike all the departments nearby where we are now, it's more slow when
Okay.
it comes to like heavy calls, heavy crimes.
Right. So you're in Walk Hill. You're doing, how long were you there again?
Nearly a year.
Nearly a year. So where do you go from there? You're in Walk Hill. You figured, well, okay, this is my last stop. It's a nice area. I'm thinking about moving up here. I'm sure all that went through your mind.
That's what
and then what happened?
I was thinking. And guess what? Lovely Harvester called me.
Do you remember who it was?
Who called me?
Yeah.
No, I don't
Okay,
remember.
all right.
Yeah. But I got a notification. I was so happy. I was like, finally, I'm going back home. And this is going to be the last call. That's it. So, long story short, I did my background investigation with Harvester Police Department. I met with the former, he's now the chief of police, Chief Gold.
Yep. I know
Yes,
Chief
I met with him, did my interview. It went pretty well. They called me. I got sworn in after my background and medical was done. And now I'm here. I love the place.
Okay, so now you're in Haverstraw. Now are you involved with the EMS at that point?
Not yet.
Okay, but you are involved with the volunteer firemen?
Volunteer firefighter and just police officer.
Okay, so you're doing those two things. So the community sees you, they're getting to know you. You speak Spanish, so you fit
Correct.
right in. You obviously have accommodated English, and so everybody can relate to you. How does that differ from what you thought it might be when you went out in Haverstraw? Did it say, "Wow, this is different than I thought it was going to be"? Was it what you expected it to be?
It was, and it was more than what I expected in a good way.
Okay.
Because remember, like I'm already involved in the community in the past. Like they know me. They know
Right.
I'm a barber. Everybody calls me, like my nickname is Cojete, meaning rocket. That's the name that I got as a barber because I
Okay.
learned how to cut hair very, very quick. So everybody knows me at this point. When they saw my Instagram post, Cojete got to have it.
So let me ask you a question. I have to go back to this. When did you realize that social media, because you're heavily into social media?
I am.
At what point in this process did you say to yourself, well, I need to get some social media behind? People need to understand who I am, and the best way to do that is through social media. When did you realize that?
That was after I became a police officer in Haverstraw.
Okay.
Because back then, when I was in the city of New York, I have Instagram, but I didn't really use it like I do now. But I got hired here, started working. Now people see me in uniform. Now they know, like, oh, it's Cojete, very friendly, very going around. Like, people like me a lot. So I'm still a barber, still volunteering with the fire department. So there comes a day that a friend of mine, Ramon Martinez, is his name, it's his birthday. That's everything started on social media. So I was like, you know what, let me get him a cake from Billman's Bakery. It's nearby.
I know.
Support the local businesses.
Yeah.
And by the way, Billman's Bakeries are great.
Right.
So I went to Billman's Bakery, got a cake.
Shout out to Vilma's Bakery.
There we go. Shout out to Billman's Bakery. And I was like, I should just record myself. And I took my phone, I started recording. I took the candle, turned it on, and I go inside the bodega. He was working at bodega back then. And I'm recording myself and recording himself. And I'm saying happy birthday, singing, applauding. And I posted that video, and it went viral.
Wow.
It had like 25,000 views. And I was like, wow, I should just keep on doing this.
Right. So you realize how powerful it can be with the right message.
Correct. And then I started doing it, keep on doing it. And then my second one was a kid. And that one had 178,000 views.
What was that about, that one?
That was it was a young kid. He was 11. No, he was 10 years old when I surprised him with a birthday cake. So I went back to Billman, got another cake, got balloons this time, and got a candle. I'm recording, doing the same thing. Because that first video went so viral that parents now are starting hitting me up on Instagram, sending me messages. Oh, can you do
would
this
show
for
up
my
in
kids?
uniform?
Yes, I show up in uniform. Yes, that's why it went so viral. Because it's a police officer. It's a real police officer. It's in uniform, and he's doing this. Like, this is cool.
That's a different... See, you're giving a different view of what police officers are than what most young kids think about. And we'll get into that because that's very important. So you go to bring the birthday cake to a kid.
To a kid now. And that was very impacting in the community. It went blowing. Like, that one had 178 approximately 1,000 views.
Wow.
I was like, wow, this is amazing. I need to do more stuff with the community because I see, and we know this, in the community, society nowadays, as a law enforcement, I can tell you, not everybody like us.
Right.
And that's fine. That's okay. But my point in my message to everybody out there is like, not everybody's the same. That's one. Second, you should try us. Come, approach us, talk to us. Because we're all human beings too. We could be going through a bad day as well. And I always try my best to have a good relationship with every member of the community because at the end of the day, we're going to be working for them.
Right.
If you have a good relationship with them, everything's going to work fine. So I went to that kid's house. I recorded myself. It went viral. And then the third one, I talked to my other officer, my co-partner. I said, listen, we need to get this together. We have to start doing this together. And we do like a caravan. So we come with the license sirens now, and I'm singing happy birthday by the microphone. It went so viral. I was like, wow, this is very nice. I have to keep on doing this. And,
so you're starting to change the view of the public and the police, where they're not on different sides of the fence, where they can work together now, which is community policing.
It's not just me. I work for Haverstraw Police Department, yes, but we are one team, and we are working together for the community. So if I do something wrong, they're gonna look bad too. So the way I see it, if we do something good, we can do it all together. Right. We are one family.
All right, so that's a different way of police. That's community policing, which is really good in Haverstraw and in communities like that. And it starts to change the view of the people in police. It starts to, instead of them running and not speaking to you, I'm sure you get people that come up to you and say, listen, something's going on here.
Absolutely.
People
and trust me a lot.
You're right. They trust you and they say, listen, I know he's going to do the right thing. So they're comfortable with you. Now, you did some training on a bicycle or something like that?
I did.
Bicycle patrol. Tell me about that. How does that work? it's tough for me to imagine, but I imagine that you can get in places that you wouldn't be able to get in with cars and check out places because there's a lot of nooks and crannies in Haverstraw, as you know.
Sure. Yes.
So how did the bicycling patrol?
So that came around before the summer, and it's just a basic application for the current employees. I applied and I got it. So I went to the training with 3 other officers.
What type of training is it?
It's a whole,
up here at the Fire Training Center?
In Pomona. You have to go to the academy. You have to get certified.
Okay.
And then that goes to the state, and then you're able to actually ride in a bike because they teach you how to shoot, how to do maneuvers, how to actually stop interference. You do a lot of stuff with the bike that... I think I posted a video of that, a short video of that on my social media on Instagram. And yes, it was hard. I'm not gonna lie, it was hard because you have to do like 10 miles on the bike.
Okay.
And it's not electric.
No, I know.
It's all by your body force. Right. So it was very hard during the summer, very sweaty, but I liked it because it's another way of you interacting with the community. Once you are out there in the bikes, you can stop easier on the sidewalk, have a briefly conversation with members of the community. You're not just in a car, just driving by. You're more out there on foot or on bike.
So if you would look at your relationship with the community, what is the biggest misconception that people have about police? Is it, right now, like... just for the general public out there, what is the biggest misconception that they have about police officers, especially in small communities?
That we're bad.
It's that simple.
I swear, yes, we're bad. Like all cops are bad.
Because what they see on TV, what they see on social media, where are they getting that message?
It's all from different stuff, like social media, videos on YouTube. Nowadays, all videos from body cameras, after the investigation is concluded, they get posted on YouTube channels. And obviously, Brian, you see work differently than I am. We always gonna see it because you have your own way of thinking, so do I. If, to me, this color is yellow, it's gonna be yellow in my mind. Although for you, it's gonna be black. Just to give you an example. So you might see a video out there that you might not like and you don't get all the facts.
Right.
Everything was exactly happened before you get to that point, and then you start getting into conclusions without getting into the facts.
Right.
And that's when people start saying, oh, all cops are bad. Reality is not. It's really not.
Okay.
And I can talk about myself specifically,
how many officers in the Haverstraw Village?
Approximately 75.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, it's a lot bigger than what I remember it to be, So you're on the job. What are the most stressful parts about the job down there? What really, when you start to say to yourself, okay, this is going to get out of hand, is it what type of situation? Is it family, domestic stuff, or is it kids, or what causes you the most stress when you're on the job down there?
It's a combination of a lot of different stuff, and it causes me stress because I don't want anybody to get hurt.
Right.
Let's just make that clear. Sometimes, just to give you an example, when you jaywalking, right? You can get arrested for that.
What, a jaywalking?
Jaywalking, yes. You can get arrested for that. 90% of the community members...
Not that in Haverstraw, I'm going to tell you right now, because everybody's jaywalking.
Jaywalk, yes. And I take that personally. I have never arrested anybody for that, just to make that clear.
Okay.
But I take it personal in the sense that I approach that person and I tell them, listen, the crosswalks were built for you to cross through that. And I'm just trying anybody to not get hurt. Like, you're going to be more visible if you go to the crosswalk.
Right.
Because it's painted, it's illuminated, and people have to stop. Actually, that's by the law, New York State traffic law.
I know,
you have to stop
pedestrian has
for
the right of way.
pedestrian crossing. Correct.
Right.
So you should just go through the crosswalk. It's like 2 seconds.
How much pushback do you get for that?
Oh, you don't even know. It's like a headache.
I can imagine.
It's like
I can imagine, because I got to be perfectly honest with you.
I didn't know this was going to be so hard.
But,
So it's stuff like that is what gets me frustrating sometimes, because I'm trying to do the right stuff and make people understand, by you doing the right stuff, one, you might not get hurt. Second, you might be afraid of a lawsuit.
Right.
So...
So if you do get hurt, somebody could say, "Hey, listen, they crossed the street.
Correct.
They weren't on the crosswalk. I
Correct.
didn't know they were coming out between those two cars." And let me tell you something. It goes on all over that town. I don't even know where those, I got to be honest with you, I don't even know where those crosswalks are because I've never used them, to be honest. And I've walked all through those streets. But everybody, it seems to be, but you can get clipped very easy on, on New Main Street or Main Street or whatever. It's, because cars are moving along there, people are coming out. So that's important, but people don't realize it until it's too late. That's the problem. So now you're a police officer in Haverstraw, and you start to get involved with the school system. The school system that you actually, graduated from.
Correct.
And how does that come about? Who reaches out to you to do that?
The first one that reached out to me was Francisco Ovalles. He's the current principal of the Haverstraw Elementary School at this point. He was the assistant principal of the high school when I went to the high school.
Okay.
So he remembers me very well, and he knows my story. He knows how hard it was for me to actually graduate, get the high school diploma because of my body language. I used to, take it personal that my accent was very noticeable. And I was like, I don't even worry about now.
Right,
I don't worry about now anymore.
Right.
Everybody has something. We're not perfect, So I'm happy enough that I made it to this point.
Right.
So he reached out to me and he asked me to come and do a speech at his school for the kids because they carry 95% of the kids are there.
Did you do it in the auditorium?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Yes,
So that's a pressure point there.
Yes,
When you walk in there.
Approximately 300 kids all total. Yes.
Right.
We did a couple of sessions and I was able to speak to them in Spanish. Now I'm in uniform. I got permission from the chief of the department. Back then was Peter Murphy. And the whole administration were fine with it. So I went did my speech, spoke to them. It was a very nice day. He broke my heart in a good way because I felt just how those kids were feeling. Some of those kids in that room, in the auditorium that day, they're not living with their parents. They're with an aunt or with an uncle, just like I was. And I was like, wow. And in my message to them, I was like, listen, look at me.
Right.
I was just like you. I didn't know anything about English. I used to say he instead of hi.
Right.
It was just a very small word. Right. And I still made it. You can make it too. Trust me. There's going to be obstacles.
So that's the message that you come up with.
Absolutely.
Okay. So
Absolutely.
Now it's very important in this community that they hear that, and they don't start to drift in the wrong direction because there are a lot of kids, that get lost in the process here, especially in school, especially coming from another country. They don't think they're getting a fair shake. But you demonstrated something different with hard work. Now do you find that prevalent in Haverstraw? Do kids relate to that? Do they say to you, hey, listen, thanks for talking to me, it helped me out? Or
Absolutely.
do the kids just go on doing what they're doing as kids do?
No, they were actually paying attention. And that was very surprising to me because usually nobody really likes to hear somebody talking. Unless it's very interesting to them. Unless it's relating to them. Then they pay attention. But when they don't care, they're just like, they start playing around.
Right.
All those kids were paying attention.
Okay,
And I like that. That means that they were listening. They were actually relating to my story. It's happening to them.
Okay, do you do smaller groups in schools?
I do.
Okay, so tell me how that works.
So I started getting invited to West Haverstraw to do visit rooms, speeches, and I was doing it. And then besides that, I was also doing Francisco Valles, the principal. He has a program every year where he does. It's like a career day, pretty much. That's what they call it. And you come in as dressing how you dress when you go to work. So the first time I came as a police officer, and I spoke to a couple of students just in that room. It's approximately 20 students. And I started giving them more insight of my story, stuff that I didn't share on the auditorium back then. And they were still listening. And I was giving them more examples, and I had to talk to the cops, how to approach, and how to use 911 appropriately. Because kids, you have to teach them. So I gave them an example.
So give me an example about using 911. I had Lou Falco here, who is the sheriff of the county, who actually is in control of 911. That's part of his group there.
Yes.
Tell me what you mean about using 911.
So something that the
prank
kids-
calls and stuff you're talking about?
That and actual crimes going on. Perhaps I told these kids, listen, if you are being kidnapped and you have a cell phone, that was just a sample that I gave them, and you don't want to make a phone call because maybe the dispatcher might say 911 operator, you can send a text message to 911 and send your location, and they'll be able to track you. You send a text message saying, oh, I'm located at this address, I'm being kidnapped, send help. 911 will receive that text message.
Yeah, they'll
and they'll relate it to us. Yes, they'll ping the phone. Some of those students didn't know that they can send a text message. So that was a message that I sent. And I also gave them an example of doing pranks. It's not funny because you're putting all this life or law enforcement, EMTs, and firefighters in danger because we approach calls very seriously.
Right.
So we go lights and sirens. We might be cutting through traffic. We are intent to get into an accident if we don't, if we're rushing enough to get to that scene.
So when you're speaking to, I'm assuming you are at North Rockland, is it the high school you're speaking to or the middle schools or
both? I get invited to all the schools.
Okay,
yes.
so you do the whole, would you think about going outside of the North Rockland area and doing it as a speaker for kids?
If I get invited, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, I don't see why not. It's a good experience that we can share across the world.
Yeah.
It's not just here in the United States.
No, I think you have a great story, and the kids would like to hear it. Plus, it takes that mythical wall between the person and the police officer when they understand that these police officers, like you said, are just other humans, and it really brings it down to community policing. Somebody should be able to recognize you and go to you for help, and
Absolutely.
not be afraid that
Absolutely.
Something's going to happen to them. And
Absolutely.
that goes on all the time in Haverstraw and a lot of other communities. There's a lot of things going on with immigration. Sometimes they're afraid and they're in bad situations, and instead of going to police, they just deal with it on their own, which is really not the right way to do it.
Yes.
So I know that the community, you do a lot of this stuff, your social media. I looked at your social media. You're very popular with social media. Do kids come to you individually and talk to you about stuff?
They do. And they tell me a lot of stuff going on, too.
Were you ever a police officer? They have police officers in the school. What do they call them? Resource officers.
School resource officers,
Yeah, right.
yes.
Have you ever done that? Were you ever a resource?
No, I'm not certified for that. I'm not in the unit.
So you got to be certified for
You
that.
have to be certified, and you have to be working in the unit to be working as a school resource officer.
All right. So when you leave these talks and stuff like that, do you leave a resource, or do you just generally say you can call the police and trust them? Do the individuals call you when they are in trouble?
So obviously, people are gonna have their favorites,
Right.
And the people who they want to trust. But I always try to get the other officers involved because they all do a pretty good job too. I don't know if you have seen Haverstraw Police in Stony Point Police Department. They always do combined events like the one they do on the new field by the Chapel Street.
Okay.
That's a big event they do. They also do the reading books on the West Haverstraw, and even the high school, I believe. So they always try to get involved with the community. So my message is to all the kids all the time: if I'm not available, I'm not able to pick up. You can't approach one of them.
And you're comfortable talking to anybody.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
So it's. Do you have a site that the schools could go to say, okay, let me see what he's doing, let me see what he's talking about? Is there a site where you actually see your whole speech to the kids?
I have never recorded.
And no one's recorded those.
Just
for this?
photos. Just photos.
Okay, so no one's recorded the talk that you do with the kids at all.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you should try.
That's a good idea.
I would think that would be something that you'd want to do because you could. What happens is there's a couple people that I'm working with right now that want to get into the youth programs to speak to the kids for all good purposes. And one of the things they do is schools are very particular about who they let in there, and they should be. what they do is they send, before they even start talking to them, they'll send a video of actually them doing it at another school district. And, you could see what they're doing, what they're talking about, and make a judgment on whether you want your students to hear that particular message, okay? So in the future, if you get somebody, you get anybody to record, you record it on a phone, just so when people question you, when you go outside of this community that knows you, and you want to do that, and I think you could be effective in a lot of different places. You could say, okay, you want to see what I do, this is what I do. And if it doesn't meet your criteria, that's fine. And if it does, I'd love to talk to your students. But I think what you're doing is very valuable. And when kids see you, they see an opportunity that they didn't see before that, and to be able to say to yourself, okay, this guy came from another country, he was a teenager when he got here, didn't speak English, worked hard, and is now doing what he wants to do. His dream has come true, and he's trying to relay that message to other people that it's still possible. There's so many bad things out there that they're being influenced. It's great to see somebody actually come out with a positive message. Absolutely. And continue to do that. How do you plan to do anything different in the future? Do you plan to just keep doing this? Is there anything on the?
Yes, I after those videos went viral, I started getting more involved into editing videos, editing photos. I came up with my own logo. I made that myself.
Oh, wow.
I got in touch with a couple of companies. Yes, if you look at my social media, you can see the growth. My first video was a disaster. I didn't know how to edit or anything. It was very bad. Now I look at it and say, wow, I want to look at that.
Right.
So I edit my own videos now. It takes time because I'm very busy, but I do it myself, and I'm proud that I do it. And that's something else that I learned. And when I go to schools, that's what I teach, and I tell the students, like, you necessarily don't have to become a cop. You don't have to do what I do.
Right.
If you don't like it, you could do anything else. As long as you accomplish your dreams and you stay off the street, stay off doing bad stuff, listen to your parents, essentially listen to your teachers, because they're your parents, basically, when you're in school. They're teaching you good manners. So do something that you want to do, but do it with pride.
Whatever it is.
Yes. So I created my own logo. Now my social media is blowing. I have like 20,000 followers. My videos get tons of views, tons of comments, good comments. And I keep on creating new ideas on how to approach the community differently. So I just don't do the cake surprise, but I also do stuff that some people don't know, and I'm gonna mention to you. I'm gonna give you the privacy on this. I do buy food sometimes for pedestrians or homeless, and I do provide them food. And I don't record that, and I don't post it on social media because I'm not trying to get viral with that.
Right.
I'm just trying to do the right stuff because there's a lot of people out there that is hungry. There's a lot of people out there that needs help. And I'm not rich. I'm not considering myself rich. I was poor, and I went through hard situations that I know if these people can get lifted up and get some sort of help, I could do it. If I could do it, I do it too. And that's what I do out there in the community sometimes.
Would you think about in the future, because you have this exposure, you have this connection with the kids, they see you, they listen to you, you have an open communication. Would you think about putting together a type of workshop that actually takes them through some of the critical steps in establishing? Because once you're gone, the bad influences start to come in pretty quickly. So
and it gets spread out faster,
right? Much faster. And
yes.
I would think that maybe the next step in this is to create a workshop where kids could come in and you can actually go through the different steps of making a plan, deciding what you want to do. Once you decide what you want to do, go through the steps on how to accomplish that. And, you could just leave in your talks. You could say, listen, I'm going to have a workshop, I don't know, Saturday from 9 to 11, and we're going to walk through the steps of your idea, what you want to do, and how you can do that. Not in particular what you want to do, but these are the general steps that you need to do, and start to focus them on their future instead of being on the streets and stuff. Sports is one way to do it,
Absolutely.
but there's another. Not everybody plays sports, so. I would love to see you put together a program that says, okay, on this date in a high school on a Saturday, it doesn't no cost. We could figure out some sponsors for it, but we're going to give you some of these lessons that instead of saying, look at me, I did this, you can do this, which is very powerful in itself. Did you ever think about saying, and this is how you're going to do it. This is how you can do it. And if you follow this plan, okay, if you get good grades and if you push your grades high in high school and you start to develop a plan of what you want to do, here's step one, here's step two. It's not necessarily go to college. It may be going to BOCES, maybe going to, a trade school, maybe going there, maybe going where. But it doesn't really matter. The formula that you're putting out will work for everybody. So when you leave, they have something to look forward to. Did you ever think about putting a workshop? Because I think kids look for that. They gravitate towards you. They're always curious, and if they come there and they start to see something positive that's consistent that they can do instead of doing getting dragged to social media for this thing or playing video games, but actually start to build a career plan. Is that something you think you may
It's
do in
good
the
that you
future?
mentioned that, because I did get into an agreement with BOCES, and that's
Okay.
what I was doing. I'm still a professional barber, and I was in the process to teach schools and have them come over to the barbershop. And that's what I was doing. I got students coming into the barbershop, and I was actually teaching the hands-on of becoming a barber. And then while they're doing that, I'm also talking to them.
Right.
Giving them the good lessons.
Right.
While you become a barber, if you're really going to have another career, you can, whether it's a police, nurses, because nowadays there's a shortage in every other employment session. We need a lot of nurses. We need a lot of police officers. We need a lot of EMTs. There's a need everywhere. So, and the money is there. The opportunities are there. You have to go out there and get it.
Yeah, that's what the workshop would be. It's not particularly one career path, but these are the steps. There's general steps that you need to do, on all these career paths. You need to do good in high school. You don't need a Regents diploma. That's great that you got a Regents diploma. I got a Regents diploma. That's great, But that's not what you need. What you need is a plan. When you get out of high school, what do you want to do? Okay, this is the next step. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for some guidance because a lot of times the parents work in 2 jobs, whatever. They don't get the guidance. So you decided at a young age, you kind of knew what you wanted to do. And there's a lot of kids out there that do know what they want. They just don't know how to get there, okay? So I would, because you have this access to the school system and the kids, I would love to see you start thinking about doing some real, instead of just talking to them and them leaving and go, wow, that was a great talk. I wish I can do that. There's a practical way of doing this. And, it's effective if they come to one location, you tell them, okay, here, visually say, these are the things you do. Here you are right now in high school. So we have to focus on high school. You got to start doing the work that you need to do. The next step is this. The next step is that. These are things that are lacking in the schools. The school has a very limited amount of time with them. They give them their and everybody's on their own after that, after high school. But there is a path, and it can be done generally with the kids. And when they start to see, okay, this makes sense. I got to do these things. It doesn't happen by magic when they get out and go, oh, I'm a millionaire. You know what I mean? If I get a good
That's a lot of people think.
I know. If I get a good social media following, I'm going to be a millionaire because that's what you see.
I'm going to start getting paid.
Right. I'll get paid. I'll get this. I can fly around on these jets.
It doesn't happen that way.
Right. I can fly around on these jets, and I can do this, and I can do that, and meet Justin Bieber or whatever it is. But there's a practical way of doing this, and because you have this access, I would love you to think about just saying, okay, let me put a workshop together. Just call it a workshop. It's free. I'm sure the schools will help you do it. Like I said, I'm having the president of RCC here probably next week sometime. And just, maybe put together something that can really make a difference where somebody, you're not going to capture all of them, but the ones that are interested will say, yeah, well, I learned that in a workshop and, I have a path in front of me. That can make a real difference. I work with a lot of young entrepreneurs, for example, and they come in to me with the same questions and stuff like that. And we set up a path. Okay, you need to do this in some kind of order. It's just like you're not going to start a business and become rich. That's not how it works. and probably some of the people you're very familiar with, to tell you the truth, that I've worked with, So they've become very successful because they learn that instant gratification doesn't exist worthwhile. There's nothing worthwhile you're going to get instantaneously. You know that. You worked for everything you got. So that's the message. The message is, what you put in is what you're going to get out of it. So I would love to see you start to develop something along those lines, because that would really make a difference to kids that you're talking to now. And, you have access that not a lot of people do, to those kids outside the classroom. In the classroom, it's the same deal. But when they look at you and they say, this kid came over with nothing, not even the language, and he's doing very well for himself, he must have something to say that I can learn from. And then set up a program. And I would help you do that. Set up a program for them to go, okay, these are the steps I need to do to get to where I want to go. And I think they need a lot of that direction. And you're in a great position to do that. So I hope you give that some thought.
I will.
All right. And I admire what you do.
Thank you.
I was I'm a certified teacher. I've always at the bottom of it been a teacher. So I think these kids relate to you. I think they'll listen to you. You have a unique opportunity in your community to make a difference.
Absolutely.
All right, and you are making a difference, but there's no there's no stop to that. There's no end to that. You can always do more for your community, and it will all come back. It all comes back to you tenfold. So don't ever worry about that. I know you volunteer for EMS now, right?
Yes.
And the fire company, and you're a police officer. So you're in their face, pretty much 24/7, one
all
way
day,
or another.
every day.
Not to mention that you're cutting their hair in one of those barbershops down there.
I know.
But I really appreciate you coming in tonight. I'm really glad I got to meet you. And I'm sure we'll be talking in the future. And, we should sit down and have a conversation about how those workshops would work for those kids, what age would work. And, I'm thinking about high school when you really start thinking about what you want to be. Because it doesn't matter what it is. There's got to be a plan to get there.
Absolutely.
All right? Thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much,
really
Brian.
appreciate
It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much.